How you doing? About 5 days ago, I hurt my back. I think I was probably lifting something pretty heavy. I don't think it happened on a bike ride, but I hurt my back and I'm supposed to leave to go to Colorado in about 4 days. So I'm taking it real easy, which means I don't have a ride to show. But there are a few things around the house that I've been meaning to show you guys. So let's take a tour of the bike shop. I'm gonna be walking around the property, which is not that big, and I'm gonna be flipping back and forth between the two cameras. At least I think I can do this. So let's start out with the bike rack. This was in a video that I made a few months ago, and I don't usually have the bikes out here in the sun. Some of the carbon bikes really shouldn't be out here in the sun, but I moved them out here because I'm doing the video. And I have all the bikes out here. This is the stable for the family, and then I created a couple of hooks for my son because he likes his little scoots. And yeah, it totally gets the job done. It's just a place to put stuff while people visit, because here's the inside. I built this a while ago. I'm gonna put the phone in the tripod. Hold on. Let's get it in there. And now I can talk. So I built this shop about 2 years ago. There was a local bike shop that was going out of business, and they had an auction to get rid of a bunch of their stuff. So I was lucky enough to have a decent job, and I was able to buy a couple of their workstations and a whole bunch of their tools and a few parts. So I outfitted my own bike shop. Now I've bought a whole bunch of stuff since then, but you know, it's really nice to have my own shop. I can do anything I need to in here. You know, I've got all the wrenches and all the tools. I've got the actual work stand right here, and it used to have a big pegboard behind it, but I got rid of that because I hung everything on the wall. And there's Aspen. Hi, Aspen. How you doing, sweetheart? It's a little warm out here. You want to come in here and lay down? Yeah, you're a good girl. She's a sweetheart. Anyway, where was I? The bike shop. I got rid of the pegboard, and I put the workbench up against the wall. I actually bought 2 of these workbenches, and I figured it was probably more than I needed, so I gave one to a buddy of mine, and I ended up actually really, I could have used 2, but that's okay because I built this second piece out here, and it lines up pretty level. So I've got this really nice corner-based work area, and then an old Craftsman toolbox that I bought on Craigslist for a lot less than it was worth, and a whole bunch of storage underneath. As far as the tools go, I've got a fairly complete complement of bike tools in my shop. I've got all the stuff that I got. I've got all the stuff that I got at the shop when I bought them out, and that's a pretty nice collection. And then a few new things. Now let's take this off the tripod and I can walk you around. I bought these brand new Park Tool Allen wrenches and Torx wrenches, and they are amazing. They work really, really well. They're not perfect. Seth from Seth's Bike Hacks did a review of these guys right here, and he was talking about these tips right here that are designed to be kind of thread breakers for stripped out nuts or stripped out screws. And I tend to agree with him. They're kind of useless. It actually would have been a nicer wrench if they just had the actual hex wrench on both sides. But that being said, I really like the torque on them. I think they're really pretty, and I think they have a really good design. So I'm going to endorse them, even though they're not perfect. The holders are also a little bit awkward, but they could be a lot worse. Overall, it's a really nice tool set. Got a whole bunch of fixed wrenches and a bunch of other stuff that came with it. You know, a headset, cup pressing tool, a dropout alignment tool, some tools for removing the cups, and a pipe cutter and things like that. Really, really handy stuff. Just a wide array of the tools that you need to work on bikes, old and new. And then, of course, another idea from Seth, I got all these cup holders, and I have them posted to the wall so that I can store zip ties, pens, pencils, and other tools that are handy. I also put a magnetic strip on the wall, and I can mount anything to this. Well, just about anything, because fortunately, bike tools are made of metal. So a lot of them are magnetic, and they just stick. Pretty handy. A whole bunch of cleaning tools, a whole bunch of cleaning supplies that are easy to access and quick to get to. And of course, my PPE, because you can never be too safe. If I have people over here and I'm working on their bikes for them, which happens a bit, then I want them to feel safe and feel like they have the ability to protect themselves if they need to. So there's a lot of masks and gloves and things like that. And then of course over here, I've just got the old toolbox that has more Allen wrenches than I know what to do with. It's kind of disgusting. This has just been collected from IKEA furniture and old bike projects over the years, and who knows what else. But yeah, that's the general gist of the tool shop. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in here, but I don't know really what to do in order to go into too much detail. Oh, here's something for you. The air compressor. Got a little Presta-Valve fixture on there that BKXC posted. He posted something very similar to this. I don't know if it's the exact same one, but it gives me a little pressure gauge, and it goes up to a spool. And then the spool, if I go around here, actually runs over to a little pancake air compressor. And the air compressor is plugged into the ceiling. I have this plugged into a little remote switch. That block that it's hanging off of is a remote switch. And that is hooked up to this switch right here, right next to all my light switches. So it's pretty loud. But when you need it, it's a really nice thing to have. So yeah, the air compressor is a very, very valuable tool. And it's always just right there. I can pull it down and it ratchets. So I can use it without it zipping back up again. And then I just yank on a little bit. And it heads right back up to the ceiling. Out of sight, out of mind. But what you might not have noticed in the background is that I have a lot more to this garage than just the bike shop. There's the entire Spokesman bar. This is something that I've had going on in here for quite some time. The guys on the street that I live on, a few of them are really, really good friends, and they like to party just like me. So we all like to get together and enjoy ourselves in the evenings and talk shop and wrench on bikes and do all sorts of fun stuff. So I built the bar. The bar has been around a lot longer than the bike shop. One of my neighbors owned a fairly prominent bar in the downtown district of our city, and so he's been giving me pointers ever since I put this together. He's also got a terrific bar in his garage. I live on a street with fewer than 15 houses, and I think there's a total of 4 bars on this street. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's not a bad problem to have. So this is the Spokesman. And the Spokesman has been open since I think 2016. You can see on my shirt. And there's some bugs in here. And it is a fully operating bar, just, you know, very, very amateur. So yeah, we've got some stools and we've got a nice little bar put together that people can sit at and enjoy a libation, whether that be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And we've got, of course, let's flip around here. Where's the button? There we go. We've got, of course, the actual bar. I'm going to be building a sign in the middle there. And so right now I have this giant cutout of the Nugabago sign that I had created for BKXC a few months ago. He had posted on his website that he was looking for someone who could build a sign for his new van. And I happened to have and knew a few people that could help, some of the talent, so that we put together a 3D model and created a sign. But then COVID hit, so it's a lot harder for me to get this to him. So I'm going to actually be riding with him in Crested Butte in about a month and a half, and I'm hoping to give it to him at that time. Until then, it sits here and it's my centerpiece because I'm having a big metal sign made for the middle, and I don't think that's going to be done for another month or two at least. I can't wait to get it done though. It's going to be terrific. Anyway, I'm a big fan of a lot of different kinds of drinks, and this is a showcase of what we get to draw from when we're all back here enjoying ourselves. We've got some glasses over here. We've got a little ice machine, which is really, really handy. It makes, I think, 5 or 6 ice cubes every 8 minutes. So it keeps us in ice, and we enjoy our Manhattans. And then, of course, we've got the taps. Every bar needs a good bar towel. This bar has 4 taps, but I think only 2 of them are active right now. That's why they have handles on them. And they're from a local brewery. So, you know, anybody who comes in can pull a pint and enjoy themselves and relax at the bar with their friends. It's kind of nice. Bunch of bar signs from places that I've visited all around the country. Where do I go from here? Let's flip. Oh, the video game. Let's flip again. So the video game is just a basic game that I built from a Raspberry Pi, which is a very entry-level kind of computer system. And it's got a whole bunch of different games on it. It's got about 250 different games on it. And it's free. It's got a little coin-op thing on the bottom, but it doesn't work. And people can just walk up and select any game that they want to play from the menu and go to town. It's a lot of fun in the evenings when we're all sitting around and enjoying a pint and playing video games. And if people don't like video games, they can relax in the lounge, which my son came in and messed up the pillows. That's okay. And the lounge is a couple of Chesterfield sofas that I bought on it was a posting from a friend of a friend. They're real Chesterfields. They were made in England, and I wanted wet red ones because I want it to be very, very kind of loungy. So let's flip it around again. So yeah, we can all just kick back in the leather sofas and discuss the politics of the day and kind of enjoy ourselves and talk to our friends and have a drink and relax, which is what we do often. It's a nice place to hang out. So the coffee table here is actually a 200-year-old tea chest from China that I purchased from a dealer very, very cheap because she was moving out of the state and needed to get rid of a lot of stuff. It's ancient. Let's see here. Let's get some of this stuff off of here and I can show you the inside because it's really, really cool. Look at that. This thing is old. And you can smell the camphor inside of it. This is an ancient tea chest. It's very, very old and very beautiful. I gotta hang this on the wall. So right now I just use it to store a few things, but hopefully it'll be more interesting later on. That being said, this is an enjoyable place to relax. We've got a little sound system in here also. There's the mixing board. We can play some music out through a couple of large outdoor speakers, which are pretty darn loud when you get them going indoors. There's one here, and there's one on the other side over by the couches. So when we get those going, we can get this garage really pumping with some music. And it's a great place for a little party. Haven't been doing a whole lot of that lately because COVID, you have to be careful about that stuff. But I've had one person at a time in here, and then we can keep a pretty decent distance from each other and sit at opposite ends of the bar, and then we can enjoy ourselves. I'm really looking forward to this whole thing being over with so that we can sit down and have a proper party again. But I think we're a ways out from that. When I was building the bar, I came across this light fixture. It's a little bit crazy, but I love it because it's kind of otherworldly and wacky, and it's got a bike theme to it. And this whole bar has a bike theme, so I really like it. It dims, and yes, this thing does actually turn, but it's very, very delicate. So I try not to move it too much. That being said, it is kind of a neat little device, and it's fun to look at, and it's a great conversation starter at a party. But it runs the theme of this entire garage, which is bikes. And to that end, when I was purchasing the auction stuff at the bike shop, I actually picked up this little deal. It's a replica bike model that's just kind of a piece of art, and it's really pretty. That's my daughter right there. She's a sweetheart. That's taken a long time ago. And this thing is, it's just nice. It looks nice on the shelf, and you know, it's pretty. So it's, you know, very tasteful, because I'm just a super tasteful person, as you well know. Ha ha, joke. I've got another one over here that was part of the same purchase. This one's a lot more detailed and a lot more ornate. It has a real chain on it, and it actually steers, and it's got, like, I don't know if it has bearings so much as it's just got working parts. You know, the pedals turn and the wheels turn, and it's just a really cool little industrial piece of art that's kind of fun to look at, and starts a lot of really cool conversations when people see it. I used to ride my bike a lot more, my road bike a lot more than I do now. And when the Tour de France, which I used to follow a lot more than I do these days, turned 100, I bought a little printed piece by an artist and had it framed and hung it in the garage. And I just think it's real pretty. I like to see things in frames that have to do with things I enjoy. And if we go over here, you can see that I actually went online and downloaded a whole bunch of medium to high-res imagery of old school bike shops. And I had them framed. Let's see if I can do this in a way that you can see it. And I had them framed and hung on the wall, and they're real simple and basic. They didn't cost a whole lot of money. These are just Amazon.com cheap picture frames. And I had them printed at 8x10, but they're really old school bike shop photos, and they're really pretty. I wish the reflections weren't showing so much, because you could see more of the image and less of everything else in the room. But I put them up all over the bar as kind of a piece of work to perpetuate the theme. Old school bike shops. Here's an old bike race from I don't even know when. There's an old bike shop up there. And I think I have one more over here that I haven't really hung up yet, but I think it's really pretty. Look at that stuff. That's living. These people, I'm sure those bikes weighed an awful lot, but they were state of the art. So that's the kind of stuff that I have hanging on my walls. What else do I have in here? Well, I think I'm gonna go get myself a bottle of water, because I'm a little parched. I've been talking for a few minutes now. So got a little fridge in here. Grab me a bottle of water and open this puppy up. I'm gonna pause the video while I open this bottle. I'll be right back. Much better. No, it's easier to talk when you have a good throat. Yeah, there's the bike stand. It's a folding bike stand that I can take off the wall and put on the ground, and put a bike on so that I can work over here. That's my tripod. But there's my road bike, just on the other side of the garage door from all the other bikes. What else do I have to show in here in the bike shop? Well, for many, many years I made beer, which is where a lot of these signs come from. I do enjoy my beer, and I've got an entire beer brewing setup. It's mostly behind all this stuff because I don't do it so much anymore, but I've got a whole bunch of grain lasts a good long time. And this is a fermentation chamber that is climate controlled. I've got an air conditioner and a heater in there and a thermostat that keeps them both going so that I can keep it within a couple of degrees of a certain temperature range while I'm fermenting and making the beer. And then of course we keg it up and we put it in the kegerator. So it works really well. But these days I've been buying commercial kegs because I've got so much going on with the channel and with my job and with our hopefully impending move, although COVID's putting a damper on that. And we'll see where things land. But I might just be getting rid of the beer equipment because it not only is beer not particularly good for me, but it really does take up a lot of my time when I'm brewing a lot. So I might be giving that up and just drinking commercial beers from this point forward. Next, let's see, we've got the video game, we've got the bar, there's the TV that I like to play bike videos on while we're relaxing and enjoying the music and such. Is my office. Let's take a look at my office. Let's flip the phone around again here. There. So if I go in the door here, I've got a second arcade machine, which I think I'm going to get rid of because this one takes up an awful lot of room and it doesn't work as well as the other one. But this is where I make all my videos. This is my office, and I got a stand-up sit-down desk, so it goes up and down. Right now it's up, and it's a lot easier to use this way. But yeah, I typically use Final Cut Pro to do the majority of my work. I just switched over from Premiere. And, whoops, I'm covering the camera. There we go. And Adobe Premiere is a great package, but Final Cut runs better on Mac hardware. So when I'm on the road, I use a laptop. And when I'm not on the road, I use a tower. There, now it's a prettier tower. And so on the Apple hardware, Final Cut Pro runs a whole lot better. So I've been using that to create a lot of my videos. And so far, so good. I mean, I'm still getting used to it. It's definitely a big change, but it works, and it works well. I've been very impressed with it so far. But yeah, it's a 3-display setup, and it gets the job done. I can have stuff happening on one display, be editing on a second display, and then have, you know, communications or palettes on a third display. So it works out pretty well. While I'm doing that, I've got a couple of decent speakers in here and a nice bass unit. So I like to listen to some vinyl records, and I've got a little audio set up in here that I use when I'm working. There's a lot of glare on that, but yeah, I've got a little record collection that I like to flip through and listen to, and it inspires me and gives me ideas, and I really enjoy it. There's a bit of a wine collection. My family makes wine, and so I don't make wine, but my brother and my father do, and they give me some of their stuff, and I always have a bottle to drink when people come over when I enjoy myself. But yeah, by trade, I'm a designer, and I've always enjoyed comics. So my sister, for my birthday, gave me this beautiful signed comic from Berkeley Breathitt, who created Bloom County. And that's a favorite of mine. That's really special to me. And then, of course, I have the shelves over here that you may or may not see in some of my other videos, because they're usually either behind me when I'm talking, or they are the feature of some of the videos. Because I just made a video about tidying up this shelf. And it's fairly tidy now, and it was a big mess before, but I still think I could do more, so I'm going to be playing with that a little bit more. Of course, there's a bunch of camera equipment that I have to use to get stuff done. Ooh, it's dark in there. And then some other equipment that I use here. Let's shine a light on that. There you go. That's the camera equipment. But yeah, there's a lot to do. I've got a few stickers that I keep around. And of course, a music collection and a library. I've got too much stuff in here. But yeah, this is where the magic happens. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. I'm not entirely sure what else to show you. You've seen the bar, you've seen the office, you've seen some of the fun stuff in the lounge, and I got to share some of the bike shop with you. So I'm really glad that you got to enjoy it, and I'm really glad I got to share it with you. Thanks very much for showing up. Next week, I'll be in about 4 days, I'll be getting in my car and driving out to Durango, because you couldn't pay me to get on a plane right now. But I am going to be driving out there, and I am going to be doing a lot of riding in Colorado. So expect a few videos on that. I'm looking forward to putting them together and getting them out there on the internet for you. And I hope I can ride with some of you soon. In the meantime, stay on the trails and have a great week.